Hi, my name is James Bender, and I'm the Ignite UI Product Manager at Infragistics. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to add an Ignite UI chart to an Angular application using our Ignite UI Angular components. This is the application we're going to be modifying. As you can see, it already has a couple of charts, but we're going to be adding one more. To add the new chart to our application, I'll need to make some changes to the code. I've already downloaded the Lesson 2 Start project from Infragistics.com, and I've already run npm install to install all my packages. As you can see on line 4, I'm already importing the Ignite UI chart component. I'm going to create my new chart, which is called the price chart, in its own component, so I'll need to import that file as well. Now that I've imported my price chart component into my application, I need to add it to the declarations array of my application module. Now I need to make some changes to my existing price chart component. Here in the price chart.component.ts file, you can see I already have a price chart component created. On line 11, you can see I have a member variable called stocks. And on line 24, you can see I have a function that's going to return some canned data. I need to bind the return value of getData to my stocks property, and I can do that in the ng-oninit function. The next thing I need to do is I need to configure the x and y axis for my application. To do this, I'm going to create a new function called getPriceChartAxis, and that's going to return the axis information for my chart. In my new getPriceChartAxis function, I'm returning an array of two objects, with each object corresponding to either the x or y array. Each one of these objects holds information about its specific array, including things like labels, label location, and what type of axis it is. To learn more about the various fields and values for these objects, please visit the Ignite UI documentation. The next step is I need to configure my chart series. Now, series is just another word for chart data, and I'll do that by adding a new function called getPriceChartSeries. In this function, I'm returning another array of objects. Now, you can have as many series in a chart as you want, but you need to have one, and in this case we just have the one, hence one object. And this object is going to contain data about my data. The getPriceChartSeries function returns an array of objects. I need an object for each series of data in my chart, and I can have more than one series, but in this case I just have the one. This object contains information about my series and how I want it to be displayed to the user. For instance, I can have the name of the series, the type, a title for my series, information about the x and y axis, and information about how I want the chart to appear. To see more information about these various properties and their values, please visit the Ignite UI documentation. The next step in creating my chart is I need to create the chart options. I've added a new function called getPriceChartOptions, and this returns an object. My price chart options are information about how I want the chart itself configured, whereas the getSeries options was more about each data series in the chart. This is for the chart as a whole. And it contains things like the size of the chart, how the margin should look, and how the chart should interact with the rest of the page. You can see here in the axis and series properties, I'm also binding the return values of my getChartAxis and the getPriceChartSeries functions. Now that I've created the functions to return the desired configuration elements for my chart, I need to bind these values to my chart itself. And I can do that back in the ng-oninit function. I've added two more lines of code to this function. The first one sets the desired height of my chart, based on the current height of the window. The second one binds the chart options for my chart to the return value of the getPriceChartOptions function. If I look at my price chart component in the components section on line 7, I can see I have a template URL that points to a pricechart.component.html file. This is the actual HTML markup file that controls how my component is going to be rendered. And I need to add an HTML tag to that to render my chart. You can see here I have my IG data chart tag, and I'm binding the options in the data source to fields in my component. Now that I've completed my price chart component, I have one last step to do, and that's to actually add my price chart to my application using the app.component.html file. I simply add the tag that I defined in my price chart component to the app.component.html, and it will render the chart in the application. You can see I now have a new chart. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful in seeing how easy and fast it is to add the great features of Ignite UI to your Angular application. Be sure to check out Infragistics.com for more information about Ignite UI and all of our other great software development products. Also be sure to check out the other lessons in this series to see even more great ways Ignite UI can help you write fast, run fast, and build great applications for the modern web.